Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Today we are continuing with module 1 itself. We will complete that and then we will move on to module 2. There are two types of groups that you will see. One is your security groups and second is Office 365 groups. Office 365 groups is more relevant to once it comes to Teams creation, where we want to have number of resources together, which is a SharePoint site behind the scene or a share mailbox behind the scene. Right? That's where we go for Office 365 group. In our current solutions that we are creating within Azure Active Directory, we will be looking specifically onto security groups itself. Now, whatever resources that we have been talking about, we can create these resources in multiple ways by using the Azure portal, like how I showed earlier. Or we can create these resources by using CLI commands or PowerShell commands. You can also do it programmatically, depending upon how we want to create these resources. If you look at Azure Active Directory, within Azure Active Directory, you can create multiple directories as well. When you create your free trial, if I may, if you look at your current Active Directory, here you have default directory, which gets created whenever you create your subscription. Apart from this, you can create a number of directories over here by clicking on Create a Tenant. You can do a switch tenant or you can do a switch directory. Right? From here, you can specify which directory you want to go to. We can create number of directories over here. You can move to any of these directories that you want. As far as these directories are concerned, within each of these directories, you may have separate set of users. You can associate this with different Azure subscriptions. Correct? It's up to you. You can synchronize different set of users. If you have different directories for your customers, each of your customer directories, you may have a separate Azure tenant over here, Azure Active Directory tenant over here. Now the core purpose over here of creating these directories will help you for administrative independence. Which means if I say, for example, I am a service provider for different customers. Right. Each customer, I can have a different directory, different subscription. I can manage it on their behalf. I can manage their complex environments on their behalf. And I can charge them managed services. That's one of the key scenarios where you will make use of these multiple directories. Apart from this, You can have number of guest users over here. These guest users can connect to your resources. That is something which is part of your B2B and B2C. Business to business communication. People from different domains or people from other domains, I would say, they can connect to your environment. They will have respective permissions on your environment, which could be reader permissions, contributor permissions. They can go and create resources over here or view some of the resources here. Gmail, Facebook, Twitter. Those OAuth tokens being used over here. Apart from this, you can have multiple domains which can interact with each other using Azure AD B2B or B2C resources. Once it comes to B2B and B2C, you can invite other users by adding a guest user. When you add a guest user, what you are doing is you are using something called B2C. In that scenario, the user management, the password management and all those things will be taken care by the another directory provider. You don't have to take care of that. You just have to assign permissions over here for that user in your environment. Along with this, their custom attributes can also be stored. And you can see there can be around 100 custom attributes per user. Apart from the basic necessities or basic details, we can mention, along with that, you can also have a custom attributes over here. What this will help us do is, this will help us associate different set of domains, different set of users, store them locally. If you have used something like Office 365, right? Even there we have option of adding external users over here. And with this, external users having their custom attributes as well. Another aspect that you will see is exploring PowerShell for group management. This is something that we will check with as we go ahead. How to use PowerShell for user creation, PowerShell for creation of resources. For PowerShell, there are two ways of doing it. One way of doing it would be by using a PowerSheller. You can go ahead and install your respective modules for Azure Active Directory. That's one way. Second way of creating these resources would be by going to your users and groups over here, and you can access these users and groups. From your Azure portal itself. Like I mentioned earlier, that each of these resources, how to create, how to work with these members, they are available to you. In multiple ways. One way of accessing it would be by installing your own PowerShell environment. Right. Here you will see the steps for it. How do you connect to Azure Active Directory? How do you access the resources over here? Creation of groups. New Azure AD group. Now for each of these members, what one need to do is, you need to first install PowerShell modules for Azure Active Directory. If you don't want to do this on your system, second approach, which I said, is you can go to your PowerShell environment. Within your Azure portal by using Cloud Shell. Once you go to Cloud Shell, the same set of commands that you see over here, say connect Azure. Same thing you can do here as well. It will ask you to create storage. Create your storage account. And then you will be able to go to your Cloud Shell. Within Cloud Shell, there are two options. One is Bash, which is for CLI. And second is PowerShell, which is for PowerShell commands. If you already have pre-existing groups over here, you can retrieve those groups by using Get Azure Group. First of all, create the Cloud Shell environment. Get the Cloud Shell environment initiated. Has that part been done? Just click on Cloud Shell. Go to your portal. Click on Cloud Shell here. Since we are doing it for the first time, it will ask you to create a storage account. It is a basic storage over here with minimum resources. Just store some of the relevant commandlets or relevant files over here. It will help you to do a lot of hands-on creation of number of resources using Cloud Shell and PowerShell. That is CLI commands and your PowerShell commands within your Azure environment. Step 1 that I have done is I have executed a command over here, which is connect Azure. Right. I have got connected to it. Second is getting the pre-existing resource groups. Pre-existing groups which I have within my Azure Active Directory. Get Azure group. In terms of creating a new group, if you see the command over here, new Azure group. Whatever group name you want, display name. Whatever features or attributes you want. Right? 3 commands over here. Creation of group. As far as creation of users are concerned, I have already showed you. How do you create a user? Using the portal. I have already shown you. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.